So this is just a quick and dirty example, but this is a Python app that essentially just lets me upload data sensor files by dragging them in, and it just plots them. Kind of gives a little legend for that, and you can see this is at a slice in time. So this is, it bins all the data. A lot of times data loggers don't record exactly. In fact, they almost never do, like right on the same second. So you have to kind of quantize that data, get it aligned, and then you start rolling through the data to see. This is a slider, so you can kind of see it at going through time. You can kind of see what's happening psychrometrically. This DF5 is actually outdoor air, and these are sensors in above insulation but below a metal deck in a gymnasium. And so as outside air in time starts getting colder and colder and colder, you can see one particular sensor starts tracking it, and so I can tell that there's not enough insulation. It actually passes it at this point, the sensor that's not the outside air, which is just like hysteresis on, just measuring a little colder, but you can tell there's just no insulation there, so it's absolutely tracking outside air. And at this point, it just gets you're condensing on the bottom of your roof, and it's creating moisture. It's saturating the insulation from the top side and dripping onto the gymnasium floor. So issues there, but you can kind of just pull around and learn a few things like that. I think it was around here. We've got the data is getting cold, but then now it's up in that space dripping onto the insulation, and then as the weather starts warming up, I think we have some warm up pretty soon here. You can see that, okay, starts warming up here, but you notice all of a sudden the sensor in the interstitial space above insulation but below deck, that is now getting hot, so it's being vaporized, right? And so it's actually tracking up the psychrometric curve, so you can tell the insulation is saturated at that point because outside air is not following it. But this sensor especially, and even all these others end up climbing. So anyways, this sensor right here is actually in the gymnasium space, so it's not going to track. But basically it tells the story of a lack of insulation and some other things going on, but the point is that by having some bin sliders that I can take data, and time series walk through it is really helpful for analytical purposes. But even snapshots using the software that you guys have is helpful. It's going to validate the programming and things like that. But that's kind of what I've been using some of the larger data sets to kind of use those in our business cases.